Hey, Stackers, here's a Halloween treat for you. Two great tastes that go great together, like a Reese's. Maybe my second favorite Halloween candy. It's economics and Halloween. Duh. Sounds boring, doesn't it? Chuck Jaffe, the longtime awesome syndicated columnist and host of the Money Life of Chuck Jaffe show, is going to tell us how he does this every year to make Halloween fun. We might learn a little bit about money. How about this? You don't hand out candy like a normal person because you are Chuck Jaffe. There has to be an economic exercise attached to it. Tell me about how this whole thing started, Chuck.
Well, I'm a longtime financial columnist, and anybody who's got that job knows that sometimes you got to come up with something to write. And I realized a long time ago, hey, I could write about, like, we don't need to give out candy. We could use this to do financial choices. So I started with a simple, what would happen if you offered kids cash versus candy? Like a simple, you can have, because the standard in my house has always been 3 pieces of fun size candy. You come to my house, that's what you're getting. So what if I said, no, you can have some money instead. You can pick, like, just make it different envelopes, and you pick an envelope. It might only have a quarter in it. It might have $5 in it, or what have you. And we started with that simple cash or candy choice. And then I quickly realized, no. Let's go all the way to real financial lessons where you can make a choice. You have multiple choices of, I can take the candy, because the candy's always an option. It's Halloween after all. I could take some money. I could play the lottery, et cetera. And so you start to think about it. Okay, the 3 pieces of candy were worth what? The dollar is worth what?
What I love about this whole thing, even when you first told me about it, is this idea, it's a very light lesson, which are my favorite lessons for kids, because we get heavy handed and then kids are like, I'm 55 years old. I want nothing to do with the heavy handed lesson. But it's this great idea of, you have limited resources. I get to go to Chuck's house once, right? And I'm going to make one decision. And with this limited resource, just like an adult going to the grocery store, going, I've got limited resource. What am I going to do with that money? Am I going to gamble? Am I going to take the sure thing? Am I going to take maybe a middle ground gamble? Like, the idea that we have just this limited thing is really cool to me.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Well, it was funny. I was talking to somebody who said, well, who would ever take the candy? And there's a story that goes back to the first year where we were doing trades. I had this group of 7 girls that come up. It's near the end of the night. They're all like 12, 13. So they're near the end of their trick-or-treating lives. And they come up and they've got pillowcases filled with candy. And so you could trade me 3 pieces of candy for the chance to win some money, et cetera. And I reach in, I pull 3 small pieces of candy out, put them in my bowl, et cetera. First 6 young women all take the envelope. They all trade me. I take a handful, just 3. I take the candy out. Last woman goes, I want candy. She goes, the last girl's like, and she picks 3 Snickers bars. And I go, I got to know, you just watch all 6 of your friends trade for money and you take candy. She goes, I got to deal with my parents. Snickers bars are my favorite. So when I go home tonight, Snickers bars are mine. My parents can't take them, right? They are mine. There is no grief. I watched you. She goes, we just got Snickers bars from somebody else. So they were on top. You pulled Snickers bars out of like every single one of my friends' bags. So if I not only don't make the money, but I lose a Snickers bar, it's a real loss. I'm like, you've got it. You spent your money, the return on coming to my house, and you got exactly what you wanted. She got those 3 Snickers bars, could not have been happier, was happy for whatever money her friends got, et cetera. And I'll point out the other cool part. Those girls, they came to me the next year, and then the following year was their last year of trick-or-treating. And they all made a point of telling me, we came to you last. We want yours to be the last house we ever trick-or-treated. And they stuck around and talked money for like 10 minutes about, this is the choice I made last year and I lost. I want to make sure I get something.
Like, see, that's it. You just wet the thirst. Like,
exactly.
You just wet the thirst, and now they like the money lessons. True story, by the way, that girl with the Snickers bar, she's now a high-level industry executive in the insurance industry because she knows risk management, Chuck. She knows risk.
It's entirely possible. I would not be surprised.
So let's go to this year's iteration. I know when you and I started talking about even this segment, you're like geeked about what's going to happen tomorrow night.
Well, in all the time we've done this, there's one thing that has never changed. The one thing that has never changed is what you get when you come to my house. So again, and I'll point out, by the way, this only applies to kids 3rd grade and up. The teenies, it's because it's gotten complicated. It's more than the teenies can do. So it's 3rd grade and up. And we're going to have a huge influx this year in our neighborhood because last year we had a whole bunch of teenies that are now 3rd graders. But the change this year is simple. I changed the candy. If you come to my house and you're 3rd grade and up, no more 3 small pieces of candy, 1 full-sized candy bar.
Oh.
Retail value. Now, I'm not saying I'm paying retail. Retail value is $1.25, $1.50, which means that the candy is now arguably your best choice, which has never been the case before. The case before was always, are you trading the candy, et cetera. So if you look at the candy this year, here's your choices. You can have 1 full-size candy bar. Retail value, we'll say $1.25. Actually, my grocery store would tell you it's $1.50. I'm buying them buy 1, get 2 free. So that's why, it's not that way to me.
Yeah.
Or you can take a $1 bill. The actual value is $1, which last year would have given you a 40-cent profit or so. This year, nope.
A little bit of a loss.
Or you can trade 2 pieces of candy to pick an envelope that has between 25 cents and $7.50.
$7.50.
Yep. Half of the envelopes contain 25 or 50 cents, so it's a quarter or a half dollar. The average envelope is $1.50, right? But that means that the expected value of this option is $1, because that's the average envelope minus the cost of the candy you traded me, right? So again, you get something, you're going to get money, but it's not the right choice. The candy is still the better choice. And then there's the bigger choice. You trade me 4 pieces of candy for the lottery option. There are 50 envelopes. There's a jackpot envelope of 20, a second place of 10, and there are 48 empty envelopes. So the average per envelope is 60 cents. But you traded me about $1 in candy to make the play. So the expected value is negative. Now, if you want to play for the big money, go for it. I'm going to take your candy, like the bully in your neighborhood, I suppose, but it's the first time that the candy has actually been the best value, which blows my mind.
What I like too, though, that you're introducing is the concept, though, of efficacy, which I know is a bajillion-dollar word, but when I was a training manager, efficacy means, is it going to stick? Is it usable? And if $1 I can use for whatever I want, versus a piece of candy, I got one choice to eat. Even though $1 is less, Chuck, $1 might have more efficacy to the kid than the candy does, which means that the dollar still might be a better choice than the candy, even though unless he's got a built-in market to sell the candy and capture the arbitrage between the two, right? If he's got that, he or she has that, and it's probably this insurance executive girl who her protege will nail this, but that's what's going through my head. So that's fabulous.
Yeah, to me, it winds up changing the game in a lot of different ways. And yes, there is that choice. Would you rather have the candy? Would you go for the value? Because think about it. We have plenty of people, you and I know people who go shopping every day and they buy something that's on sale, but it's not necessarily what they need. That's that efficacy problem. That's that cardinal utility problem that we learn in economics class and all the rest. And so this takes that on. If money is the value to you, then the question is, do I value the money? And remember too, are you valuing what you are doing? That's the other thing I hope that they will do, because, we all have to value our time and all the other sorts of things that we do. You get a return for coming to my house. That return is a minimum of $1 in cash or $1.25 in candy now, or what have you, or playing the game, hoping you can get more. If you don't value the candy that's in your bag, you can take that chance on getting bigger money and just kind of go, yeah, it didn't really cost me anything. And that's fine. And by the way, all of this is written up. So kids go home. If you take an envelope, when you open the envelope, whatever is in there or not in there comes out, and there's a little sheet of paper that tells you what you did. Because I want the kids to go home and do it at home. I'm always telling them, please don't open it in front of me. Take it away. Because I don't want to know if somebody wins the $20, which, by the way, has been won on multiple occasions, right? I don't want to know. At the end of the night, I want to know because I want if it hasn't been won, I want my $20 back. But if it has been won, I don't want to know because I have to pitch this to each kid. And if I knew that the 20 was gone, it would be very difficult for me to sort of explain the lottery option and like not want them to go, please don't take it because you're not going to win.
Yeah, kid, you're about to get hosed. Right.
This is, I mean, I'd rather be the carnival barker going, the odds of you winning are not that good, but then, oh no, I'm ripping you off. Just put the candy in the bag, go home empty handed. So
that's fabulous. What do you expect?
I expect kids will still go for cash more than they go for candy. I'm hoping that we haven't made it more complicated because it's already a thing where kids have to decide. But I think that it will make the decision easier for the kids who want to take candy, provided that they like the candy that I've purchased. That I think that the Snickers bar thing, like it's not Snickers bars. That's not the candy that I've been able to buy on sale. So if you like the candy that I've got, the candy that I've got is a good value to you.
Are there kids that come to your house with their parents, and even the kids and their parents, Chuck, are like, what the hell is this? Just give me a Snickers bar and let me go home.
There are a few that the parents never do that. The parents are fascinated. The parents want to know what the kids would do.
That's good.
The kids want to know, the kids sometimes want to know what the parents would do. I think every now and again, like I try not to judge when I wind up seeing the parents driving through the neighborhood later, depending on the car that they've got, what they were saying when they're like, oh, you should take the chance. Like, go after the big money. Right. Really, Mom? Is that the lesson you wanted to teach here? Because probably wasn't the best financial lesson.
If Mom's like, somebody's got to win, Junior.
Exactly. Got to be in it to win it. You don't need all that candy. Give it up. Like, and you see that. That's the really cool thing. So, and the other side of it is the kids who have done it before, if they took like the first kid who won the lottery was a neighbor child. And I actually knew he had won it because he opened it at the end of my driveway and we saw him celebrating. He like came back to thank me. I was like, oh, it's the worst of all worlds. I know. And it was at the beginning of the night. But you would have thought that kid who had won would have just played the lottery forever. Right. And he did not play it the next year or the next 2 years. And he played it again last year and was really bummed that he didn't win. Like, I didn't play it the last couple of years. And now I didn't like the odds were never in your favor that like, oh, if you took 2 years off.
Isn't that funny? He's trying to make math where there is, but that's a good lesson, right? I mean, that's also a good lesson.
I'll point out his father's a financial advisor. But the best part of that is, Joe, I can promise you, no matter what, he may not remember me or my name or anything else, but I can promise you someday he's going to be telling about his kids about the time he went out trick-or-treating and came home with $20.
Everybody head to Chuck Jaffe's house in the Boston suburbs for Halloween.
I hope so. We'll see you there. Happy Halloween, everybody. Thanks, Joe.
Oh, I love that. Just a little creativity. Chuck employs, and everybody wins. The entire neighborhood wins. People talk about going to his house last. It's a super way to celebrate one of the iconic holidays of the year. Hey, you know what? This is part of a longer conversation we had at the Stacky Benjamin show, but who cares about that? Let's keep it going here in the comments. What do you do to make the holidays a little fun and maybe teach something without going overboard, teaching stuff? I really enjoy teaching when it's fun. I don't like it when it's a slog. Chuck certainly knows how to make it fun. Keep that going in the comments. Hit the bell so you get notified whenever we have more Stacky Benjamin stuff here on our YouTube page. And you know what? Pass this along to a friend. Happy Halloween, Stackers.